And Roland, did you want to have recording control as well? Yeah, so if you request me, nobody else requested, just Roland. Okay, so you're now co-host Naybody. Okay, so I have to now do my bit, which is, this is a private and confidential transmission, wire transmission. And this wire transmission is for private people only. Can you scroll down a little bit, please? Yeah. Can you reduce the screen so I got one slide at a time? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So, no actors, no personas are allowed to view, listen, or read this wire transmission. If there are any government agencies, social services, etc., let yourselves be known, or forever hold your tongue. I'm going to repeat that 3 times. If there are any government agencies, social services, let yourself be known, or forever hold your tongue. So for the 3rd and last time, if there are any government agencies, social services, etc., let yourself be known forever, or forever hold your tongue. So if there are, you can just log off and, as they say, F off. I'm now going to hand it over to Naybody as to what the book contains. And please remember, we have a tendency to understate and over-deliver. So it is up to you folks to follow through to its logical conclusion as to what we are achieving. Okay? Some of the things that you are seeing here has no record ever of being done. And these people that have been raping you, pillaging you, are now petrified. I'll hand it over to Naybody.
Sorry, that's from us filming the other day. So this is the Judicial Notice book, which a lot of people have been waiting for. It is.
Can we see the whole page first?
Yeah.
Thank you.
As much I'm going to get. So this is going to be your court of records. This will give you the power back into your hands and away from the fiction that we have been subjected to all of our lives. So this will become your court of records. You can have this book as it is, and there'll be 3 packages, which will also include our author and director thumbprint. So you can make joinder and make trust with it. It becomes like your Bible, as you would use your Bible. In the olden days, you'd have a will and testament. It would be your court of records. This is what we hope to achieve with this book, where we will achieve, should I say. And there'll be 1 of 4. Here will be for you to put your name on, as well as a stamp with your thumbprint. That will be for you to make joinder and trust.
May I say a few more things? Stay on that slide, please.
Yeah.
So this is a rough representation of what the cover page will be when you guys order the book. The judicial notice number and everything stays very consistent. The other subtitle makes it very clear that this is for the first time you guys will be having your own court of record on one book. Even though it's volume 1 of 4, any one of the volumes will serve as your court of record. Okay? And we've put the author's name and the director's name in such a way that when you put a postage stamp over those 3 lines and you autograph across it and thumbprint it, it'll make automatically joinder, creating a trust out of this first book. We didn't go for corporate. So we didn't go for sole, beg your pardon, which is one, and we didn't go for corporate. We went straight into the trust. Okay. The date is the 17th March 2023. This is when the book actually came into existence. And you folks will have the opportunity to buy it, get it for yourself. And we will tell you how to even use it, in a most powerful way. Anything else to add? Anybody?
No, just think you've covered it there, and all three of them, like you said, all four of them you can use in the court and as your court of records. So it's more than just a book.
Yeah.
So basically it's because it's in the public domain, isn't it?
Let's get filled up and done before you go.
Can we have everyone on mute, please? Unless we are at question time.
Jon, Fraser, turn off your microphone.
Listen, folks, can you check on each other that you're not accidentally turning your microphone on? It's incredibly annoying when you do, only on account of that it disturbs the flow of this. So even if you don't know if you've got your mic on, it's always courtesy to shut up. So even when you leave your microphone on, doesn't matter, just shut up. You don't talk over somebody's presentation. Okay? We all agree? Excellent. Yes, when you're ready, please.
Yes.
This is the first page. We just wanted to give you a little clue. 3 quotes, one written by myself, one by Mark, and one by David. And it says, "Live in facts, say no to acts. The facts that destroyed their acts," by Janine Linehan. "Here and now. For the best start now, with the skills they have, with the people they know, with the tools they have," by Mark Fishon Christopher. And "Fact in, Fiction out," by David Wynne-Miller, which says a lot about the book.
So this is the page that's going to be inside the hard book, okay, the hardcover book. Just as a reminder of what all this is about. So live in facts, say no to acts. As you know, what that means is that every single one of you that have had babies taken away from you, operated on, organ harvested, each one of you that have lost their parents and your cars and your homes have all been done by subjugating you into acts which are solely created for actors. And this book, the Judicial Notice, which is the only way that you can bring in a fact into court through a process known as judicial notice, destroys their acts. They actually got everybody believing acts are law. They're not laws, they're bloody acts. As in Scene 1, Act 5, Shakespearean. Can I have a thumbs up that everybody has understood this? Let me keep your thumbs up. Let me check everybody. Because some of you might not even have thumbs. Oh, thank God for that. I was going to find creative ways to get thumbprints off of you. You didn't have any thumbs. The second, the middle one, I want to explain to you. It's called Here and Now. And there's a reason why it's called Here and Now. Because everything is here and now. Anything outside of the here and now, and you might even giggle at it, may not even understand it. Anything outside of the here and now is not within your grasp. You can't feed your dog in the future. I say that because I see a husky next to a guy. You can't feed your dog in the future, and you can't feed your dog in the past. The goddamn animal will starve to death. Yeah? So you understand? They're getting you starving yourself by thinking you can do something in the future and talking about things that you've never witnessed in history as if you have actually fought some war or something, as if some narration, it tells you the truth. It's not. It's all just a bloody lie. So I want to make it very clear, for the best, start now. What is the best? People that understand the here and now with the skills that they have, because you can't be wanting to start something, saying, well, I think I will start to become a professional boxer before I try out boxing. It's an oxymoron. Yeah, I think I'll lose a bit of weight and feel good about myself, and then go and get a girlfriend. Doesn't work that way. You've got to feel good about yourself here and now. That will get you to the gym, and that will get you a girlfriend. Agreed? Yeah, exactly. With people you know. You can't be doing things with people you don't know, because you don't know who they are. With the tools that you have. You can't be dreaming of tools that you don't have. You can't talking about a hammer drill that you don't have. You've got to deal with the hammer drill that you have with you. Yeah. So if your friend has a drill, borrow it. If you don't have the skill to use it, then use his skill. But the best always start now. Can we have a thumbs up on that? Thank you very much. David Way Miller is what's inspired all of this. And his saying, which was hijacked by a parasite in his organization, he used to just simply say, fact in, fiction out. When a bit of light shines through into the darkness just simply dissipates. It's an effortless motion. And his quantum grammar technology, what it does, it brings the fact in. So the fiction is just simply displaced. As Bible people would say, the wheat is separated from the chaff. Yeah, those things which have a center of gravity will always find a place. Yep, I think I'm now ready to hand over to Nobody and talk about the introduction. Before we go on to that, how many subjects or categories are there in this book?
There's 52 words and 24 chapters.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll hand it back to you.
Just going to talk over the introduction so you get a feel of what's to come.
You can talk a bit slowly, that'd be really good.
What is a judicial notice? As Google states, a judicial notice is a rule in the law of evidence that allows a fact to be introduced into evidence if the truth of the fact is so notorious or well known or so authoritatively attested that it cannot by reasonably be doubted. This is done upon the request of the party seeking to rely on the fact at issue. Facts and materials admitted under judicial notice, under judicial notice are accepted without being formally introduced by a witness or other rule of evidence, even if one party wishes to plead evidence to the contrary. This book is factual based with real evidence that is detrimental to the corporate world. When you reveal a magician's trick, you leave him unable to perform. By opening your eyes to the word plays and spells being used on us, the people daily, you will see how sinister words really can be. We are walking, talking contractors, bonding ourselves with spellings, following acts of parliament, as silence is consent, as we are governed by the police who are paid and working directly for the privateers the few, in the knowing bar high clubs, run the masses, while we unconsciously and unconscionably sign our rights away. We even sign our babies up to the same tyrannical system, willingly docking them into the bankers' hands, register them to their death birth certificates, ready for the state to govern and harvest them in the same manner as if it's become some sort of a tradition. Many live in fear, too scared to rock the boat, and remain a good slave to the system that rapes them daily. Ignorance is bliss, falling comfortably into livestock. We are smashing the system, breaking spells and freeing souls. After this book, you will stop feeding that hungry machine and start living without fear. We are the people and say no to the governed lies, privateer pirates, who, with our own autonomy, with proof of life, with every word we speak. This machine is about to break its back when we expose every lie, every contracting word, binding our readers to the machine that harvests them. We are no longer lost at sea on your maritime laws. We are captains of our vessels, private people, no longer up for salvage or harvest. The dead has risen and it will never go back to sleep. Yeah. Would you like to say anything, Mark? Big one. Mark? Where's Mark?
If you go back, okay, let's hold it there. The introduction, unless we spend like 1,000 words on it, will not do justice to this book. Yeah, who wants to read a 1,000-page introduction? So this introduction is very bland. It doesn't even cover, not even like 5% of what the contents is. Why? Because the content is incredibly rich. It's so iconoclastic, it actually breaks their foundation of what they rely upon. And within this presentation, you'll get an introduction as to what the British Museum is and all the museums around the world. You would think innocently, what the hell's museums got to do with it? But we'll reveal what museums are up to, even though I've done it previously. Yeah, so the world of the Matrix, the world of fiction, is generated in your mind by actually believing the lies that they've told you. When you live a life of a lie without you actually even knowing it's a lie, that's the matrix of the lie. I would love to do a slideshow on the movie of Matrix. Why? Because the people that make these movies want you to run to Zion. Where is Zion? That's the Zionist rabbi in Israel. You can look it up. Just Google it. Who is the Zionist rabbi in Israel? And it will tell you it's run by Zionists. Next one you can do is like, who is the head of the Ashkenazian Jews in Israel? And they will come up. These movies that people want to wake up to and run to is to the very people that imprisoned you, the Zionists. Because that's where they want to go. Everybody in the Matrix wants to run to Zion, a subterranean planet where you get to eat and drink your own feces and urine. Because that's what they do. They process their own feces and urine and they feed it to the people. And that is the Matrix. That's what we had to stop in Britain by them pumping sewage water into our drinking taps. They do that deliberately. We brought it to a stop just a few weeks back. Monitor it, because the dead drink sewage water. Can I have a thumbs up on that or a thumbs down? So when you want to escape the matrix, you guys going to run to Zion? Because that's where Zion is. So when you escape the matrix, you're going to run to the Nazis, because that's what an Ashkenazian is. The word Nazi comes from the word Ashkenazian, Jew. Yeah. They hijack systems. They hijack Jews. They hijack religions. They hijack Muslims. They hijack Christians, and they get you to believe it's never been hijacked. So in this sense, the contents of the book is quite literally breathtaking. And we introduced 2 subjects already to you. We're going to introduce the second one, which is the museum. I hand it back over to you.
We've got a few more pages on this one.
Okay, so I'll talk about this. Just the book itself, which will be hardback. We actually don't even know what the cost of transporting it to you will be. We have to guess it, because that's the kind of way that we have to work. We would love to spend a week or 2 finding out, what the costs are. So we just put a broad price of £3.50 to cover cost and packaging. I guess it'll be probably around about £8-9, but we'll fix that when it comes down to it. Okay, there's going to be two versions of it. The book itself, which you guys can use as your court of record, and which you would read and study, and you keep it to yourself. You can keep it in your car. You can keep it as a traveling document wherever you go. Okay, it's like a passport, because that's what judicial notices are. And you're serving everybody judicial notices as you walk through, because you carry these books with you. A very common book is called a passport. That is actually a book. But we can't spend £200 printing these books, because who's going to pay £200 for a book? You understand what I mean? The second version is going to be a full audio presentation of the book itself, page by page. Yeah, and that will be an audio visual presentation. The book itself is also narrated, which means it's like John speaking to Tim and Jane speaking to Tim and Tom. So it will be narrated like an audio book, as well as the presentation of the evidence, page by page. And that one will include, of course, the global constitution, just as the judicial notice will do. And it will have our unique autograph on it. It will have our own unique autograph. That means we will physically autograph the book itself and thumbprint it for you guys to make joinder with us. Okay? And we'll also put a postage stamp on it for you, whether that would be US or Great Britain or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. Okay? And once again, the packaging of the book, we put it through 350. And the total of that will be 53.49 Great British pounds. So you'll have an electronic package sent to you and the physical hard copy with us physically autographing it. So that book becomes unique to yourself. And you can throw that if they ever, if they ever arrest you or anything, you can just serve them that. And I mean, give it to them, because you don't want to bloody give 50 quid away, do you? So, you just simply say, this is the judicial notice. I'm now putting you on notice. You people are self-confessed liars. It is actually I that am in position now to arrest you as bloody liars. And here's the evidence. And here it is, autographed and witnessed by plenipotentiary judges. So you don't practice piracy, especially in the US, because US is the only country that never, ever said we're not going to practice piracy. Quite incredible, isn't it? But we did a presentation on that, and everybody was like, and quite rightly so, because it's quite frightening. The If you scroll down a little bit, please. Yeah, so this will go to this particular email address, and it says there no G because it's not a Gmail account. That's through PayPal. That's for the first one, $24.99. But you have to put in, you have to make up for the cost of postage and packaging. So if the author can correct that now, because that has to include postage and packaging. Yeah, so while I'm still speaking. On PayPal as well, please. Okay, that makes it more convenient, and you'll be given this slide. Is it possible to post it, the slide, onto the text bar? If it is, please do so they have the options to, pay for it. Now, it will take about 30 days for the book to get to you, okay, because we have to do everything physically, if you know what I mean. If you're going to use a bank account, you have to use an IBN number because people will need to do international transfers. So if you give them your IBN number, yeah, so update this document and give them the IBM number for international transfers, which you can do later on. That'll be good. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay. I'm going to do a little teaching lesson for you. Many videos have been put out on what we have discovered about trust. You see, what they are doing to you is that they are creating what is known as creative, albeit constructive trust. It's a lovely word, isn't it? Constructive, but it's not constructive. It's by deception. If you can write the word trust by deception. How are they doing this? Say, for example, they get you to believe that you have to register for something. So they now got you believing in a lie. So one element of a deceptive lie or constructive lie has taken place. So when you buy this car, you register it, and once you register it, you think that you've actually logged it into a central system, making believe that everybody can see that you are the owner of the car. But you are not. What you have done is handed over the ownership to the registrar, and you now become subject to that car. In other words, that car owns your ass, as the Americans would say it. So the car owns your ass, and so does the registrar. That's two people. That's two, not people, but two humans, because a car is a human, corporation is a human. You being the third party, the unwilling, sorry, not unwilling, can I use that word? I don't think I can. The ignorant party that has now created what's known as a settler. You would have thought a settler is somebody that settles things. I mean, that's a nice word, isn't it? Settler. But what that means is that you're the one that created the trust because you believed in their deception, and you will have to pay into the trust. So the registrar will use the car as a means of leverage for you to pay into their trust. That is VAT, that is fuel costs, price of tires, parking tickets, speeding ticket, false accusations, HB interest, so all to remove sweat equity from you. Yeah, and my system will be creating a means by doing things by a logging system. That includes your car, your properties, your live life birth certificate of live birth and things, bypassing these freaks. Yeah. Another pernicious trust that they create is, say, with mortgages. So when you have a mortgage, it's actually an incomplete trust because it's you that doesn't have the mortgage, it's them. Yeah, and they put an extra tenant in, and the tenant is usually the college or university in your state. Like if it's California, it will be the main university in that state that actually owns the state, and another, usually a bank of some form. And they form a trust, an incomplete trust with you to say that, well, you created the mortgage, so you now have to pay into that trust as the settler. So you are actually constantly paying into it. And if you look at your document, it will say on that document that you are also a tenant and that there is a joint tenant. That usually is a utility company, like a water company or an electricity company. And you think, bloody hell, I'm a tenant, but I'm paying mortgage. It's supposed to be my home, but I'm a tenant. But who's this bloody other tenant? That's a water company. Or who's this other tenant? That's a utility company, like a cell phone company or electricity company. I mean, they're the tenants. And how comes they're not contributing to their rents and tenancy? Why? Because they've lumbered you with all of the bills and just living off of it. The fraud is so massive. It's so massive. It's breathtaking. So let me check your knowledge. There are very few people on this planet that know what I've just revealed. Once you question, even if there is a trust in place, and if the courts are trying to establish a trust by deception, saying that you have to answer this letter, as soon as you answer, contract is created, and the solicitor that made the case, called an officer of the court, will complete that trust so the court can have jurisdiction until you present them with a judicial notice. Then things become very shaky for them because they are not the only people on this planet. There are other people that control these freaks. You really think if this planet was run by cannibals, we'll be still walking around? Most of us will be missing a limb and God forbid a thumb, because some bastard, some bitch, sorry about the French, would have cannibalized on your parts. But of course they do, because they do it to your children. They organ harvest human beings, as it were. So can somebody now think of other ways that they can describe this? And we'll write it down for you before we go on to the next slideshow. How wonderful. Everybody understands what a deceptive, constructive trust is. So we can go to the next slide. We have a house of geniuses here.
So we finished with this complete side. You want museum?
Yes, please. Yeah. I hand it back over to you.
Did you want me to talk through, Mark, or was you going to expose this?
Oh no, you do it.
Okay, well, as Mark has already shown us, that the museum is a bank. So I went looking for all the information that you needed to verify what he was saying. So when you look up the word museum in Hebrew, it comes up Archives Treasury, which is a bank, museum. And I also found, which is quite interesting, the Bank of England Museum. Welcome to our museum. I'm not sure if this is going to be closed full time soon, but it does say just closed because it's late at night. So that proves Mark was absolutely 100% on the facts, and everything in there is an act. And there's many acts. I'm going to read a little bit of this to you guys. An act to alter the composition of the trustees of the British Museum to provide for the separation from the British Museum of the British Museum Natural History, to make new provisions with respect to the regulations of the two museums and their collections in place of the made by the British Museum Act 1753, and enactments amended or supplementing that act, and for purpose connection with the matters aforesaid. They revenue the acts according to the agendas that they work with. There is many acts that I've added here for you to see. I've picked out just one so I can verify what I'm saying. British Museum Act 1963. An act to alter the composition of the trustees of the British Museum to provide for the separation from the British Museum of the British Museum Natural History, to make new provisions with respect of the regulations of the two museums and their collection in place of the made by the British Museum Act 1753, and enactments amending or supplementing that act for the purpose connected with the matters aforesaid. From the commencement of this act, the body, known as the trustees of the British Museum, shall continue to exist as a body corporate, with perpetual succession and a common seal, having the general management and control of the British Museum, but shall consist of 25 persons appointed as follows. That is to say, 1 appointed by Her Majesty, 15 appointed by the Prime Minister, 4 appointed by the Lord President of the Page of the Council, of the nominations of the Presidents of the Royal Society, the Royal Academy, the British Academy, and the Society of Antiques of London, respectively, and 5 appointed by the trustees of the British Museum. So you can see here that they are revenuing the names as well. That is a clear revenue. They've gone from one name to the same name near enough, but they add things to change it, and then they've, as you can see down the side here, all these different acts. There's just amendments to revenue, and there's many. That I've just done a little snippet. It goes back years, 200 years. And this is a very good book. We haven't got it yet, but again, the British Museum in Fiction, a checklist. I'll put this here because it's my date of birth. I keep finding it everywhere. So yeah, there's a checklist of the British Museum in Fiction, which is quite an interesting. Back over to you, Mark. Unmute.
Take me out of slide. I mean, who writes a bloody book called British Museum in Fiction? Unless they're openly advertising to you, it's all bullshit. Your dinosaurs are bullshit. Your stories of evolution is bullshit. The bullshit itself is bullshit. They don't have any gold to print any money. It's all banking of lies. Karl Marx, sponsored by the British Museum. Charles Darwin, sponsored by British Museum. Why? To generate the money on the back of their lies. We've got them, and it's already been done. We've got them by the testicles, and we've got like 50 tons of weight on it. Yeah, and it's like within the tip of our tongues to be able to collapse their bullshit, implode it for what it really is. Their court systems run on it. Their printing presses run on it. Their entire industry runs on the back of a lie. And a lie begets another lie. I mean, just think about it. How many things in life can you folks qualify to say that is a fact? What about gravity? Can't argue with gravity, can you? You know. Yeah, but when they call it a theory, what are they doing? They're getting you to believe a fact is a theory. And that's why they still call it the theory of gravitativity. I mean, if I was to pick up, let's pick on somebody here, shall we? Harry, who looks just as heavy as me. If I was to pick him up and throw him out of the window, that would be a beautiful demonstration of the theory of relativity. He can go screaming down and still say, it's only a theory, it's only a theory. And he's going to go squash. Ain't no bloody theory. So they take a fact and turn it into a theory. Or they just generate theories after theories. Even your nuclear bombs are theories. There is no nuclear bomb. There is no atom bomb. There are TNT bombs going off, photographed as if they're nuclear explosions. As we release this type of information, they release information saying, how comes there are no pictures of Nagasaki and Hiroshima? I'm mispronouncing it. Because there isn't. There's a lot of studio pictures of boys and little boys getting burnt and all that sort of stuff, which are models, crisis actors of those days. There is no nuclear bomb. There is no nuclear commission. Yeah, there is no arms race. It's one group, sorry about the word, fucking you. It's highly profitable. Yeah, the lie is so profound, it's really quite breathtaking. And they've been at it for a very long time. We are now about to pull the rug, thanks to you folks as well. We're about to pull the rug under their feet. We've already started the process. We've already written to the Royal Commissions. The Judicial Notice book is the final, shall we say, the final blow to their coffin. Yeah, I think of this more like Pandora's box. You know, they're petrified what might come out of it. I'm sure you guys know the story of Pandora's box. She opened it as a virgin. I don't mean virgin sexually, but virgin in terms of she knew no fear, no hatred, nothing, you know, creation itself. Like the sparrow in your back garden. She opened the box and there she let loose fear, desperation. And in her fear, she closed the box, leaving behind and locking faith, hope, and charity. So mankind walks this earth as faithless, hopeless, charitless creatures we are. Until the Judicial Notice book came along and smashed their Pandora's box. It's all out. David started the process, David Wayne Miller. You guys understand? Even the nuclear bomb is a joke. It's a bloody joke. The houses that you live on are jokes. You are just tenants. That's all. And you're not even sole tenants or exclusive tenants. You are shared tenants with a water company or a utility or company of some sort. And the one that owns the state is a university, usually one that has bought up the entire university. That's why every university has a dean. A dean is a religious leader, a religious teacher. You know, every time we turn a page, we discover magnitudes of lies that is just, it still takes me my breath away to this day. We, ladies and gentlemen, are about to collapse the Bank of England. the Federal Reserve Bank. They got nothing. They got no gold, no diamonds. They're not allowed to have it because fiction is the only thing that they're allowed to have. They're not allowed to have anything factual. So they created a conspiracy theory called fractionalized banking. They're not fractionalized nothing. They got nothing to fractionalize with. You have to have a piece of paper for me to fractionalize. Now I've got two. They don't even have this. They never had this to begin with. It's all up here. Here's another one. They don't, it's all a lie. Yeah. To drive home this, even for us religious people, and I would consider myself a man of faith. All my life it's like I've been told the Bible is the word of God. You look inside the cover page and it's copyrighted, not to God, but copyrighted to some artificial corporation, usually the Oxford family or the Cambridge family. It's wonderful, isn't it? I can create a book, call it the Bible, Word of God, but I'll copyright it to myself. I'm not even one of the apostles. And I think so little of people, I know they'll fall for the trick. That's what we're about to collapse, their entire lie. You see, David Wayne Miller, he perfected the syntax and the parsé, showing you 100% fraud. And I believe me, not one of you, not even the psychopaths in this group or the narcissists in this group, actually know what 100% lie is. It's beyond our imagination. Yeah. Why am I telling you that? Because they have to spend day and night, trillions of dollars per day, just controlling, making sure their lies don't collapse. Because how easy is it to collapse a lie? You just tell the truth or bring in a judicial notice, or you say, liar, liar, your ass is on fire. Yeah, I know that you're not a sheriff. You are acting as a privateer to give yourself acting immunity. But I ain't going to give it to you because you're going to harm my physical body. So you are under arrest. It is you that is under arrest. You can't get acting immunity because I found out you are not an actor. You're doing this for real, but trying to take immunity by using acts. All actors are immune from prosecution. They would be because it's a bloody act. Yeah. You guys understand. I think I'm going to put you under arrest for acting like an idiot. I think I'm going to put you under arrest for acting like a rapist. I think I'm going to put you under arrest for acting like Hitler. I think I'm going to crucify you because you're acting like Jesus. It'd be absurd. But that's the absurdity that they have firmly imprinted upon people's minds. This Phantom of the Opera mask has more explanatory depth in it, which I can't explain now, than one can understand. If you take this off, you really get to see how scarred and ugly they really are. We understand each other?
Yes.
Somebody give me an example of one of their theories. Pick one.
Well, gravity is one, actually. Gravity is one. Sorry to interrupt you, Michael. Gravity is one. You're saying that basically they say that gravity is a theory when actually it's a fact.
Yeah.
But gravity has never been proven. Gravity is not a fact. What is a fact is relative density. You fall to the ground because you are heavier than the air.
And that's
That
what we call gravity.
No, that is relative density. That is not gravity. Gravity has never been proven. Gravity makes you fall down to the ground or makes you orbit. We have for two phenomena the same explanation. Either gravity makes you fall down to the ground, either it makes you orbit. It cannot make you do the same thing. Yeah. So
do you understand the point that I'm making? What they call gravity is that which is attracted to the earth. Yeah, from a distance from it. When you let that weight go in free fall, the consequences is what we call gravity. It's a very old word. You can call it
since
by
Newton.
many different words, but the manifestation of, you see, this is what I did not want to get into. It should be obvious that when we talk about gravity, we have a clear understanding of what that is in your mind. But when you turn that into a theory, you now have the ability to create arguments out of that fact. And that is called the coloring of the law.
Well, but I don't think it's a good example.
The more you
Honestly.
color it, the more this type of conversation takes place.
Okay, I won't insist.
So does everybody understand what I'm talking about?
Sorry, Mark, could you just repeat that sentence? If you start to argue, then you're coloring it, and then
When you have an argument,
Mhm.
when you have a cross point of, no, it's not a theory, it is a theory. You've just colored it from what I've originally said. Is that what is gravity? What is our understanding of it? If something thrown out of the window, it hits the ground. That's the manifestation of what they're talking about as gravity, is what we understand. And if you maintain that as a theory, then perhaps throwing somebody out of the window really is not the consequences of their death, and therefore it's open to argument.
Maybe it's just the fact that you are heavier than the air. Then it's the relative density. You are just heavier than the earth. The gravity doesn't have anything to do with that. Just like
You're still
buoyancy.
coming up with a pattern that's just
Yeah.
going to cause an argument, mate. Just
Sorry, Mark.
cause and
Sorry,
effect,
Mark.
that's it.
Sorry there, guys. I'm just going back to what Mark was saying with the nuclear explosion. It's funny because I used to wonder how the camera was able to film them without disintegrating. You know, little things like that I used to watch when I was a kid and wonder why they could actually blow a whole town up and have a camera inside the building and it's watching the models start to smoke and light up and nothing happens to the camera. And then I watched one the other day and it's, as Mark stated, they're models. Models. Sorry, guys, I just thought I'd just change the subject because it was dragging on.
Yeah, I mean, think about germ theory, right? I mean, that's another example.
Yeah, out of the book, what the doctors don't tell you. But I did not want to get into this conversation. I didn't want to get into the conversation. The reason why it's falling is because it's lighter than air. I did not want to get into it because it's the obvious that I'm stating. Yeah, relative density and things like that. So unless you are able to switch off that noise in your head, me and you are not going to communicate. No, it's not that. I'm talking about manifestations of that which is so bloody obvious that is beyond argument, which is what a judicial notice is. And being able to put a full stop to that. So people do not try to continue along that sentence because you haven't put a full stop in it. So I'm putting a full stop into it. That's what the judicial notice does. It brings a fact in and not try to turn it into a theory and make it open to an argument. That is what a judicial notice is. And you cannot keep falling into this trap of giving other people's interpretations again and again. If they want to do that, then let them make their own judicial notice, but they can't. because they don't have the intelligence to do so. Do we understand what a judicial notice is?
Excellent. Could you mute? Because the dog is barking behind you and we can't hear people from them.
Can somebody, whoever's that, switch it off?
X-Roy?
Try, can you mute?
Thank you.
Now, can I ask people to be, conscientious of dogs and barking and stuff? It takes away from the presentation. Can I ask you again, and everybody understands what a judicial notice is? I ain't going to fucking argue with you because it's my judicial notice and it is beyond argument. I don't care whether you think gravity is a cat or a dog. I'm telling you what it is, so shut up. And that's what the courts are telling you. They're telling you, why don't you just tell us what it is and we'll shut up. We won't present an argument to it. Everybody understands this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir. Next slide, please.
Yes.
There isn't any more slides, Mark.
Oh, okay. Can you go back to the British Museum one, because that probably requires a little bit more explanation.
Mark, I have a question.
We'll leave it to the end.
Okay.
Okay, look. The point that I'm making is that a museum is the International Bank of International Settlements. It is another word for the Bank of England, which is a franchise. So, which hands out franchises.
This one's got smart.
The Federal Reserve Bank is a museum. Yeah. The whole thing is a museum, and a museum means what? Somebody open their mic and tell me what a museum means.
Treasury.
Yeah, in Hebrew.
Bank.
Yeah,
It's
in English.
It's an amusement.
Entertainment.
Amusement.
Yeah.
Amusement.
Thank you. Can you come out of the screen share, please? Everybody understands? I really thought just a few months ago, until we broke this code, that a museum is where they had those beautiful looking dinosaurs and the Tyrannosaurus rexes and the Neanderthals and my ancestors. You know, they don't fucking have anything. Nothing. Yeah. Who told you was white people? Probably the black people. Who told black people they're black? The African chieftains, knowing full well what it does to the psyche. All proven. Do we understand each other? So, I'm going to ask you guys a question. You said there's a guy here. Let's pick on somebody called Jason Hales, I think. I personally think is a Tyrannosaurus Rex crossbred with a poodle. And I'm going to stick it into my judicial notice. What have I just said to you guys?
You're going to put a fiction in where there is a fact, which can't be done.
No, not really. No, that's not what I'm doing. Just think about what I said. We've gone out of our way as honorable men and women to bring in as many facts as possible. What are they bringing in and calling it the judicial notice? They're lies.
Color.
Yeah, they're lies. And then they call it what? A trust. So in order for me to try to hack into the judicial notice, what I have to do is find 3 other people or 2 other people here to certify, autograph that Jason Hales is actually a Tyrannosaurus crossbred with a poodle. So can I have 3 people that will agree that's what he is? 1. Any other ones? 2. We got 2. We got 3. Listen, Jason, I notice you're not agreeing with it. So if I give you £50, are you okay with that? Say yes, man. Be poetic. Say yes. Go with it. Yeah? Put your thumbs up. Now we have testified that he is, self-testified that he is a Tyrannosaurus Rex crossbred with a poodle. You guys may laugh at it, but that's what they're doing to you. It's, he's given professional testimony, and we've got 3 other witnesses to back that up. That's how you bring in a trust. That's a constructive trust. What they haven't done is, because we've stopped them, is tried to turn that into a judicial notice, which unfortunately they are serving you, but they don't call it a judicial notice. They say to you, we found a Tyrannosaurus Rex in Arizona. Everybody believes it. Trust is formed. It goes into a museum. Money is printed on the back of that lie. And those cow bones, which is what they are, is shipped all over the world. And they're put on display, and the government pays them because it's an amusement for the people. And it's also banking. We understand how this thing works?
Yes, sir.
That's just sick shit, Mark. Sorry.
Hey, Mark. I just thought I'd let you know that we're going into the courts tomorrow to use this judicial notice against some of those people that are coming against us.
Well, congratulations. Keep us in.
Yeah.
Tell us what's
So
happening.
looking forward to it.
Remember that judicial notice. You're talking about the paper, aren't you? It has to be thrown into the well of the court, not into the levedated areas, but into the well of the court with the global constitution.
Yeah. Cool.
For you to command the court.
So I've been trespassed from there, but Iruwera will be going in by himself with a few support people that are going to hopefully voice record what goes on in there, because we have been successful in recording some of our appearances, well, not appearances, what is it? Oh, what's
Special appearances, you call it?
Yes, yeah. So now that we know that they have these judicial notices, we're going to use it to our advantage tomorrow. So thank you for that tip.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Good luck, guys.
Thanks, guys. We'll keep you posted.
Okay, so we're done, or is there anything else?
Can I? Yeah. I've also got one coming up next week as well, with the courts as well. I attempted to, even though they had been served with judicial notices anyway in the past, I wanted to add it into the case that I was attending, but they refused to take it yesterday. So they said, oh, but you can take it into the courtroom. So I was thinking what you were saying about throwing it on the floor in the court itself. Is that in the well?
No, I'm not going to talk about your case and stuff. The lady shared that because she has got a lot of experience, that sort of stuff. I don't know who you are, what you intend to do, but I won't be discussing that with you. Now, I'm not here to give you counsel on these things. I'm doing this out of courtesy for you guys because you sponsor us and I want to give you guys the best I can. But I ain't taking your individual things. In reality, it's you that's supposed to be doing this for us because you're the patron. Look up what the word means. It means that you're going to do the work and I go and put it into practice. Yeah, but I'm doing all of this for you guys because you're putting your bit in. So I'm rewarding you. Don't use it too much, please. Okay, but I thank you for your support.
Oh, yes, Chief. Yeah, I'm also going to send those Andrew John Bailey letters. Is it all right if I send it via DHL? Because I'm going to do at least one letter at a time.
It's up to you. It's up to you. You know,
All
these
right.
are quite expensive ways of doing it. You can do it by email, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All righty. Anything else?
Mark, I have a question on the pricing of the book.
Yeah.
The first price is clear, but the second price where you have the audio, there's the hardback included with that too?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. And then how do I get my example, not my example, but I sent out the museum letters, right? So how do I get that one from the governor to you? Just email it, what I sent?
Yeah, just scan it through, send it through, and Camilla here will post it onto my website as evidence that they're being served.
Okay, great.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
I have a question.
So Irene, I think, put her hand up. Irene, yes.
Thank you. It will be quick. Sorry for everyone. I know your time is precious. I'm very new to this, straight to the point. I just need a copy of that audio and book, and I don't know how to go on about it and how to pay it. I know by PayPal. I want to make sure it goes to the right people. That's all.
We've given you the details, so I'll leave it up to you. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll email you out all that information tomorrow.
Yes, please. Yes, please, if you may. Thank you.
Yeah. Do remember it will take about 30 days to get to you. Okay.
Mark, it's in the group chat.
I've sent the details.
If everyone looks in the message in the group chat, it's in there.
Is the IBM number on it? The big number?
That's not done yet, the IBM or BIC number. We've actually got a choice when we do the publishing if we want that. I was meant to ask you about that, Mark, if we're...
No, but what I'm asking you for the people here, have you put in the IBN number, yes or no?
No.
Okay, so that's fine. So most of you guys in the US will be using PayPal because we don't have yet the international code for banking. So just use PayPal, be easier. Don't say you're sending it to friends and family, saying you're paying for an item, which is the book. So they get their cut. That's important, that they get their cut because we don't want to cheat them out of any percentages and things like that. Okay? We understand each other?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can I have the whole slide, please? Drop it in so I can drop it into people.
Can we pay for the book with Bitcoin?
No. Well, is everything okay?
You want me to drop it actually into the chat?
Yeah, the whole slideshow, yeah.
I'll stop sharing them.
I have a question. when I do the send the letter out to the British Museum and well, I'm part of the U.S. of course. I use excuse me, EEVID, so I can send a receipt to you upon request that that it has been sent.
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Do we have it yet?
Yep, it's in there. It's in the chat.
Yeah. I can't see it myself, yeah? That's the whole slide.
It's there actually. Sorry, factually.
I'm going to leave that. Okay, I think we're done.
Question: If someone buys the book through the Barclays account, then do you want anything put in as reference, or how are you going to know who bought the book, for example?
Well, just, you know, just write to us, email saying that I, you know, bought the book, sent the money, and we'll take your word for it because you'll give us your name and your address so we can send it to you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And just to repeat again, the first option was just the book, the hardcover book, without thumbprints, without any sort of autographs. The second option had the book with your autographs as well to make joint David, and the audiobook. Yeah.
What's different about the second option is that it will have a full slideshow of every single page narrated and explained as an audio presentation, as well as visual. That's the only thing. But the book itself, which should be virtually identical. Yeah. The second option is that I'm not going to print my name. I'm just going to write it physically. And so is Janine. So you guys can say that you actually have something that's authentic from us. That's all. Okay. It's like, you know, an author saying, I wish you all the best, Janine, Matthew, and Mark, or whatever, you know, what it is. There's nothing special about it, but as an educational tool, it's a powerful tool because it gives you full narration. It will give you an audio visual presentation, which is what most people are craving for. Because they don't read books. I'm sure you know that yourself. People don't read books these days. You know? I'm okay with it. I'm not a big avid reader. I'm only like sci-fi, reading sci-fi, you know.
I read books.
Congratulations, darling. Okay, I think I've got two people in hand. If you can, you know, ask your question, that'd be good. Don't talk to me about personal cases and stuff. Yeah, if you want to share your successes, that's fine, but I'm not dealing with your personal cases. Okay?
Hi, Mark.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, darling, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I just want to ask, I want to buy this book, but can my family also be able to use it?
Do you ask them to buy one as well?
I can buy for them, right?
Yeah, you can buy 2, 3 copies.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the purpose of it. Yeah, we've put hundreds of thousands of pounds into this.
Okay. Thank you.
That's the objective, yeah. All right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you buy 2 or 3, what can you do with it?
What you can do with it?
Give them to someone to read or to.
Yeah, it's entirely up to you, darling. I'll leave it up to you, but please keep a copy for yourself.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. You can give it to other people's Christmas presents or whatever, you know, birthday present, or you can even serve it on to people. But that's $30, isn't it, for you guys? I don't think a police or a sheriff is worth $30, to be honest with you. You know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I think we're done.
Mark,
Yeah, but-
excuse me, we're going to go into the museum slide again with further explanation.
Ask us what you want, darling.
Oh, just in terms of the definition of museum and the revenuing aspect of it. Were you going to explore that more in depth here, or was this going to be
No,
part
we're
of
not going to
the
explore
writing
it
of
in the in-depth. It will be in the book. But it
It'll
doesn't
be in the
require
book. Yeah, just clarification there. Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be in the book, but I'm not going to explore it any further.
No, just clarification. Yeah, thank you.
A date is just a date. Yeah, that's all that is. A lie is a lie and a date is a date. Okay, we're done, I think. Let me just check.
Mark. If I understood correctly, you are doing the mask and the ropes because the social media owners told you or something like that, that this is, if you are using that, you are an actor. Could that be solved using decentralized platform, like to run in a blockchain?
I don't understand your question.
If I understood correctly, why is the reason that you started like using the mask and the ropes?
Because the words are more important than the face.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. I've never seen a picture of Jesus in the Bible. Don't look for faces where they're not. What I'm telling you is more important than what I'm wearing. I'm wearing this basically for comedy, to let you know that people don't know the difference between this and taking it off or putting it on. There are so many actors in the movies at the moment that they themselves never acted in it. They're computer-generated images.
Yeah.
Some of the actors will simply say, gosh, I didn't know I made that movie. And they say, well, you did. I wasn't in it. No, it's a computer-generated image. Because on the contract, when they sign it, it says we can use your image for any purpose we want. So now the actors are saying, well, we're not getting paid for these images that you're using that look like us really acting. And they're seamless.
Yeah, that's why they're on strike. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, they just signed them up. So they got 500,000, you know, actors that they can just computer generate images of. And you got yourself a massive production and you think that's the genuine actor. Oh, it's a computer generated image. And the reason why I spoke about the atomic bomb is because they just released the movie Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
And in there, his wife, Emily Blunt, who played by Emily Blunt, very famous English actor. She's virtually in every movie you can imagine. She says to her husband, Oppenheimer, when he's about to test the atom bomb, she says, break a leg. Everybody know what that means?
Yeah, when in theater they tell you
For
that,
actors.
so you yeah, exactly, for in theater for actors. Yeah,
It's
good
just
luck
a
for
theater
actors.
show. All it is, a theater show. Because if you believe in the atom bomb, then they can tax you for the atom bomb. They can get you to believe all of these things are real. You really do live in a fiction world. The language itself, what you're using, was created by somebody else under license. Remember that. Because after all, no sane person will ever buy a mortgage for God's sake. Which idiot's going to buy a death pledge? Yeah. That's how hypnotized people are. Thank you very much. We'll get the stuff out
Thank you
tomorrow.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Mark, can I have a chit chat with you for 5 minutes or so?
No, what's the reason? What is it?
It's personal. It's regarding the sheriff and coroner group, basically. It's just like it would
Come
take 5
tomorrow
minutes.
morning and just join us. I'll answer any questions.
All right, good, fantastic. I'll see you tomorrow then.
See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye bye, nobody.
Thank you, Janine. Take care of everybody. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Lots of love.
Janine. See you later.
Bye.
Bye, Camilla.
Love you all.
Bye, Bye, Camilla.
Bye, Camilla.
Bye, Camilla.
Bye, Camilla.
I'm staying for Craig.
Bye. Good night.
Bye, everyone. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye, Camilla.